So we're here at Berkeley City Hall in Occupied Uchun, aka Hippocrates, Berkeley, with this beautiful reclaiming of this settler colonial politrickster hall built in this Greco-Roman style of exclusion and violence. And we're sitting here with our relatives from Where Do We Go, which is a badass movement, making sure that our houseless bodies are not left on the street and swept like we're trash. And so I'm here with Ian. Ian, tell us what you guys have done, what's going on.
Yeah. On Saturday, we had a protest at the park across the street from here. We had lots of great people, lots of activists, people from the college, people from our community, from the streets, and just from all over. We had a protest. We're protesting the sweeps, but more specifically, the order from Gavin Newsom, the order from Sheng Tao, the legislature that the city of Berkeley just passed, which allows them to sweep encampments without offering any shelter. They've been sweeping camps without giving notice. Things have changed, and so we had to kind of act fast. And we had this protest. We went across the street, which is where we are now, and we occupied the front lawn of the old city hall here, the Model Chirac building. Yeah, we've been holding it down since Saturday. We haven't had any issues. People have been coming from around the community. There's probably 100 people living over here in downtown in little pockets here and there. Slowly but surely, people have been coming and joining with us and setting up their tents and, letting us know that they feel safer when they're with the community and oh shit, here's Robbie. Yeah, and the community's really been coming together and bringing us food and supplies. People have been dropping by all hours of the night to come pick up snacks and water and anything they need. So we're asking that, everybody bring everything because we're sharing it with all of downtown.
Oh, so what are the asks or perhaps the demands or where a liberation narrative of where this should be and where this should go?
Yeah. To start, they need to stop the violence. They need to stop the sweeps immediately. We can't help people until we stop hurting them. We can't help people with their trauma when they're actively experiencing it at the hands of the state, completely unnecessary. So the very first thing that we want is for them to stop the sweeps immediately, stop the violence, allow everybody to stay in place so that we can connect them with services, so that we can figure out what they need and help them with that. Our next demands, obviously, we want more housing, that's a given. We also want oversight for all the nonprofits like Backs and Abode, Operation Dignity. That $23 billion that came from...
did you say with B?
Yeah, with the B, $23 billion, completely unaccounted for. Anytime we ask them where they've been spending the money, they refuse to answer. We ask the county, we ask the city for accountability. They don't do it because they don't want to know. As far as the message that they're pushing right now is that they're offering services, that they're offering shelter to everyone, and everybody's turning it down. We looked it up, and out of the 100, I can't remember how many sweeps happened in Oakland last year, 7% of all the people swept accepted shelter offers. What does that say? 7%. That doesn't make any sense.
Billion with a B.
Yeah.
So that's really paying for those CHP officers to come and remove us like we're trash.
Absolutely. In fact, they've been using CHP around Oakland for, that they've been using them for traffic stops and things. I think that what's happening is Gavin Newsom is trying to have his own private little army. He can give direction right to the CHP. If the cities allow the state to come in and police people, as Gavin Newsom can give orders to directly with that. But so we want accountability for all these big groups who are taking all this money, who are pretending that they're offering shelter to people, but they're not. The shelter that they are offering is substandard. The housing that they're offering is substandard. They're doing things like purchasing buildings with state money and then collecting federal money on top of that at a market rate for the rent, and collecting big income on our tax money on substandard hotel shelters. And they say that they're offering services at them, but they're not. A lot of the people who are out here with us right now were in these hotel shelters, they were in housing, and there was nobody there to support them. They just got dumped into these spots, don't have kitchens, don't have anything. And for people who've been out on the streets for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, to go back inside is a traumatic thing too.
That part.
Transitioning back in.
Can't just put a roof on it.
No.
We have healing needing, and we have not just housing. That's so real.
Yeah, it's a complex issue, and to just throw somebody in a house, they're all alone.
Right.
You took them out of their community.
Thank you.
So you took people out of their camps, and you just isolated them.
Yep.
They don't have access usually to their social workers anymore, or any people who were helping them. And they have a really hard time with it. They struggle, and so a lot of people come back out, to what's familiar, and honestly, to probably where they feel safer, and to be with their community.
Yeah.
That's what we all need. Don't want to be taken away from our community, no matter what our situation in life is. So we're seeing a lot of that, a lot of turnaround. There's no oversight on any of that. I'd love to see a number of how many people went into housing but then returned. They only mark it as a win.
Yep.
So every person they get into housing, they say, hey, we got one in, give us more money.
Yep.
They don't talk about what happened to that person afterwards.
Yeah.
And if
Oh, go ahead.
And if we house that, oftentimes that person will go through the whole system again. We'll house them again.
Yep.
That's 2 points for the same person.
Wow. Shout out to Etna Street Solidarity, our relatives down in Tabongar we just came from, speaking on the same politrickster crap. We know that these, legislations and these politricks are really just about money at the end of the day. And they're also about power, right? I'm curious, because the same thing, of course, under so-called Karen Bass is supposed to be better, and she's not. We call them the tiny tombs, the jail-like rooms. Be lucky if you ever get out soon. But what I wanted to ask you is, have you heard anything? Speaking of politricksters, have you heard anything from inside this monolith here? Have they talked to you? Have you gotten any?
No. Last night at about 3 o'clock in the morning, the police were tiptoeing around the tents. They didn't come say hi. There are neighbors. If you want to look right there, that's the police station.
Right. Hey.
Literally a stone's throw away. If I threw a stone, it would break their window. But we're not doing that. But there are neighbors, and they haven't come to say hi. Ask for a cup of sugar or anything like that. So we're here. We haven't heard anything from the city manager's office, from Peter Radu, from any of the people who would probably want to check in, see how we're doing, wondering why maybe there's all these people here,
right.
But I don't know, maybe they don't care.
Wow. Well, this is a badass move. So if theoretically, you have no sense of how long this movement needs, how long it needs to be is how long it needs to be, but in terms of you all's thoughts going forward.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's a space for protest, and so what's left of the First Amendment is supposed to protect that.
We don't have constitutional rights.
Yeah, right.
They decided that.
Yeah, definitely don't use it as a moral compass, that's for sure.
Right.
But at the same time, it's an encampment. There's unhoused people living here, and even with everything that's going on, there is rules on how they do their encampment abatement or their cleanings or whatever. When they fucking sweep encampments, they do have to follow some rules. They can't just ride in and start beating everybody up.
Okay.
Even with the legislature that they passed on Tuesday here in Berkeley, it didn't get rid of everything. They still have to give notice to people.
Okay.
They still have to. There's some things that are unchanged, and so the fact that it's a protest and it's an encampment, we don't really know how they're going to approach this. Is it a sweep or is it a crackdown on an occupation?
Right. Right.
It's.
Or is it liberated Mama Earth as well? It should be.
That's right. Yeah. So we have people here doing both. People are here to protest. There's some house people who are staying here who are here to protest, and myself.
Yeah.
And then there's people from the community who are here because they feel safer in encampment, because it is safer in encampment.
What do you want from listeners or viewers? What's support for you guys?
if you guys could bring us food and water and just any kind of supplies, clothing, anything you think of that you have to spare, because anything that we're not using here, we're giving out to everybody around downtown. You know, there's 100 people living in and around this area, and they've been coming by at night and asking for snacks, and we're gonna put clothes out for everyone. We're hoping that they'll come and join us up over here too. But in the meantime, you know, we're offering what we can, and so there's no such thing as too much as far as this site goes. Anything you want to bring, you should bring.
We might see more tents.
Thank you.
We need more tents as we grow.
Okay. Well, you heard it, fam. We're right here at Berkeley City Hall, aka occupied.
It's old Shitty Hall.
Right.
The new Shitty Hall's
Occupied.
over there.
Right. Sorry. Old.
Old
Shitty Hall. Occupied Uchun. That's hip hop crazy Berkeley, where no matter what you might have heard about they being progressive, it's just like all the other settler towns. Nothing new under the settler sun, and they sweep in our houseless bodies like we're trash. And no politrickster Jesse, Newsom, Karen, London, Shane Tao too. We're not taking that anymore. We're taking back Mama Earth, because Mama Earth is not for sale. Oh, Mateo.